Friends of Bloomington, thank you for your patience. Our program is now about to begin. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Laura Schultz, President of the Bloomington Rotary. Thank you.
Welcome to the 2024 Bloomington State of the City event. I am Laura Schultz, the current president of the Bloomington Rotary Club. The City of Bloomington, Bloomington Chamber, and Bloomington Rotary are pleased to present you with this annual event, which has continued for more than 25 years. Thank you for joining us for this year's State of the City address. At this time, we would start today with posting of the colors of the Bloomington Police Honor Guard, and leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance will be the Bloomington Schools Superintendent Eric Melby, who is a member of the Bloomington's Chamber Board of Directors, as well as Bloomington Rotary.
Ready, big. Ready, post. Present. Arms.
Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Arms. Ready, face.
Please be seated. Again, thank you for joining us for this year's State of the City address. As I mentioned earlier, Bloomington Rotary has been a longtime partner of this annual event. Our Rotary Club has been rooted in the Bloomington community since 1961. We are part of a global community of 1.4 million Rotarians who are committed to action that changes the lives both locally and globally. Here in Bloomington, we mentor students at Kennedy High School, we volunteer at Veep and Loaves and Fishes, and provide funding to our local and international nonprofit partners. Internationally, Rotary takes action in the world's most persistent issues, promoting peace, fighting disease, growing economies, supporting education. And we've been on the front lines of eradicating polio from the planet since 1988. We're this close to doing that with a 99.9% reduction in polio cases worldwide. If you're interested in learning more about Rotary, talk to me or one of our members here today. I would like to now introduce the President and CEO of the Minneapolis Regional Chamber, Jonathan Weinhagen.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Jonathan Weinhagen, the President and CEO of the Minneapolis Regional Chamber. So great to see and have all of you here with us today. I want to kick off the program by acknowledging some folks who have supported this program, support our organization, and so many of the organizations in this room, not just today, but all year long. So our presenting sponsor today is the Mall of America. Our supporting sponsors are the Bloomington Community Foundation, the Bloomington Convention and Visitors Bureau, CenterPoint Energy, Comcast, Commuter Services, H&U Construction, Intelligent Office, Larkin Hoffman, Normandale Community College, T-Mobile Fiber, and Xcel Energy. If you're a representative of one of these companies, would you stand so we can recognize and celebrate you? If you're not standing, one member of my team will be reaching out to you at the end of the program, and there will be an opportunity for you next year. Want to take a moment to recognize the great team here at the Zawadi Center, a great new asset to the Bloomington community and the region. Thank you for hosting us. I'm hearing the food might be the best yet at one of our annual events, so let's give them a round of applause as well. I'm now going to enter the most dangerous moment of the program for me, where I acknowledge elected officials. So I'm both going to probably mess up some names and forget somebody in the room, but I'm going to give it my best shot. We have a number of folks here who are giving to this community each and every day in their elected and appointed capacities. From the Bloomington City Council, we have council members Jenna Carter, Dwayne Lohman, Lona D'Alessandro, Chow Mua. I got you, Lona. If you were here last year, it was a problem. I had night sweats in the middle of the night thinking about pronouncing her name right. Sean Nelson and Victor Rivas. From the Three Rivers Park District, Commissioner John Gibbs is here with us today. From the Metropolitan Council, John Pacheco from District 5. From the Bloomington Public Schools, the Superintendent Eric Melby, who you saw earlier, is here, along with a number of his board members, Beth Beebe, Tom Bennett, Matt Dimke, Nellie Corman, Maya Olson, Heather Starks, and Dawn Steigoff. And then we are joined by Normandale Community College President Joyce Esther. So let's give them all a round of applause for their service to our community. I'd also like to recognize the advisory board for Bloomington to the Minneapolis Regional Chamber. They're represented by Kate Anastasi, Rod Axtell, Brendan Bannigan, Kevin Bengston, John Blackshaw, Bonnie Carlson, Lona D'Alessandro, Brenda Dickinson, and Chief Booker Hodges, along with Andy Hoffman, Joan Kinsley, Philip Lee, Kate Leiby, Dr. Eric Melby, Paul Smith, Mike Durkick, Barb Wolf, and Greg Worthen. Let's give them a round of applause. And if you weren't named, you might want to reevaluate your life and think about how you could be next year. I'm going to take just a couple of minutes to talk about some of the work of our organization and the community before we officially kick off this event. This is one of my favorite events of the year because we not only get a chance to look backwards, but more importantly, look forward at where we're headed as a community together. The Regional Chamber is proud to be a strategic partner, a resource to the city of Bloomington and the entire region. We focus on economic development and policy advocacy in areas of workforce affordability, mobility, public safety, and so many more things. And we do that all in partnership with great communities like the city of Bloomington. We're committed to enhancing the experience for everyone who lives, works, and plays here. And let me tell you, that's a whole lot of people when it comes to this city. My notes say now I'm not supposed to steal the mayor's thunder, but he knows me well enough to know that that's probably not going to be a thing. He's going to talk a lot about a great new innovative program that we're partnering with the city on called Hatch Bloomington in a few minutes. So I won't go into detail on that, but I do want to share. We had the opportunity to unveil it at our annual meeting just a couple of weeks ago. We are really excited about it. It's one of the biggest investments that our organization, the Chamber, has made in a community partnership in its 143-year history, and we couldn't be more proud. And that doesn't happen without incredible leadership. Leadership from the mayor, leadership from the council, and leadership from staff of both of our organizations. So I want to call out City Manager Verbrugge, Sean Lundy, incredible partners in executing on that work that you're going to hear about today. If you were here last year, I talked a little bit about being mid-legislative session. We're right there again. It was supposed to be a quick get in, do some bonding, and go home. I will defer my comments on where we're at in that. We talked last year about the great opportunity with the Minnesota Forward Fund, a $500 million state fund that would create an incentive to compete for the $52 billion of CHIPS funding. And a real focus on the city of Bloomington because we know we're one of the semiconductor meccas of our state and of the country. I'm happy to share that in the 365 days since we've met, we did secure those funds, and the first application in the hopper is being reviewed by the department, and we expect to hear within weeks or maybe days a really exciting announcement, a 9-figure investment in the region, and I can't share this, but a really good probability that it'll be right here in the city of Bloomington. And then last, I'd absolutely be remiss, and Bonnie would yell at me if I didn't talk about the incredible hospitality community in this city. Our region is coming back, and we are feeling it in every corner of Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Bloomington. We've had some of our biggest weekends in history. And I'm not talking about this new measuring stick that we like to use, right? The post-COVID measuring stick in history. Thank you, Taylor Swift. But that doesn't happen without world-class amenities, and they are located right here in the city of Bloomington. Renowned restaurants, hospitality, and the best damn convention and visitors bureau in the state, if not the country, led by Bonnie Carlson, Jan Kroll, and an incredible team of leaders. So let's give them a round of applause as well. I'm going to close by saying, the economic outlook for this city is incredibly strong. We're looking forward to our continued partnership as we ignite innovation, continue to attract, both talent and other capital investment, and think about creating a community that works for everyone. So my notes now say it's time to begin the official program, which I found a little bit offensive, like I'm not part of the official program. I'm told the mayor kept it down to 192 slides this year, so we're excited about that. But to get us started, I want to kick it off to a video that's going to spotlight and highlight Normandale Community College, one of the premier community colleges in the state and in the country, and their 50-year history. Thank you.
It's just really grand, this show.
It's lit, literally. We've got lots of light.
Our production of Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief performed on campus last fall.
It's about a boy who doesn't know his dad, and he lives with his mom, and eventually he ends up at a camp. He doesn't know where he is and finds out that one of his parents is a Greek god. Someone accused him of stealing Zeus's lightning bolt, and he has to go prove that he isn't the thief.
Two individuals representing the Kennedy Center American College Theater Festival came out to see the show, and of the productions that were entered to be considered for an invitation to this festival, 4 received invites, and Normandale was one of them. The only school in Minnesota to receive the invite. We're competing with those institutions that have graduate programs, and so to be selected as one of the 4 to represent the upper Midwest region is a really cool thing.
I don't know how, but every single person I've met in the theater program is just an all-star.
I was so surprised, having been to other four-year colleges and things like that, just how much they cared about each student and the small class sizes. It was so nice.
And I think it really just represents our dedication to the arts here at Normandale and supports what we're trying to do for students, which is to really give them a rigorous education in the arts and make them prepared to go out and be working artists.
I've never done anything like this before. I've never been recognized to go to an event as big as this one. So I'm really lucky, and I'm just blown away that I was even able to be in a production that gets this kind of recognition, which is incredible.
Yo, we got this, you ain't shot this. Yo, I know your trade of thought is that there ain't no way in Hades that will win. All your worries come in flurries, but we bested freaking furies. Look how far we've come, we can't give in. It's 1 foot forward at a time. Dust off all that grit and grind. We still got a lot left to do. 'Cause people are counting on us and I'm counting on you. Drive, just drive. Stay ahead and stay ahead and stay alive. We ain't got no time for moping while we're working and we're coping. So pedal to the metal and drive.
That was freaky.
That was scary. Oh, guys, are you aware we keep surviving every creepy, crazy thing? Like an arrow from Orion, keep on straight and keep on trying. No fates are ever gonna cut our strings. Drive, just drive. Stay ahead and stay ahead and stay alive. The weather may be stormy, but the road is still before me. So pedal to the metal and drive. It's 1 foot forward at a time.
Dust off all that grit and grind.
We still
Got a lot left to do. people are counting on us and I'm counting on you. Drive, just drive, stay ahead and stay alive. Road it up is freedom, as for rules, hell, we don't need them. So pedal to the metal and drive. I never dreamed that I could do this. Never felt like I was worth a damn. But I'm sort of getting through this. I mean, what? I mean, look at where I am. Try, just try. Stay ahead and don't get dead and stay alive. With the wind up on our faces, we're getting all the places.
No major fender benders, now we're looking like contenders.
The Oracle can it, I'll save my mom, then save the planet. So pedal to the metal and look, a bus to Los Angeles.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
This one we just won't blow up. And drive.
How about that? That was a fantastic way to start this, wasn't it? Thank you so very much to the Normandale Theater Department for being here to perform Drive from their production of The Lightning Thief. I'd like to recognize Normandale Theater faculty Sean Bird, I think Sean is here somewhere, as well as our performers tonight. We just heard from Drew Bainbridge, Olivia Anselment, and Bennett Klingman, and J.J. Gisselquist was on the keyboards. Fantastic, and the fact that they were one of 4 at the Kennedy Center is really an impressive thing. Let's give them a nice round of applause. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tim Busse, and I have the honor and the privilege of serving as the mayor of this great city of Bloomington. I am so happy to see everybody here today. Thank you so very much for being with it. I will say a production of this size, an event of this size, takes a lot of people. And so before I even get into my remarks, I want to thank everybody who's been an integral part of putting this all together. Our city staff, Janine, Grant, Ben, Diane, Safa, I saw Jody here. Thank you so very much for your work. Minneapolis Chamber folks who have worked on this, and I know there was a huge staff working on this. Thank you so very much for all you do. And the folks at the Zawadi Center here, they've done outstanding work. So thank you to all of them. Thank you for the work that they've done and put into this. It's a big one. Thank you. Big events like this, no matter what you're doing, you've got to have backup plans, right? You got to have a plan B, just in case something doesn't work out. And I was glad to see that Normandale made it here. But if they hadn't, we did have a plan B in place. It was going to be a little duet that Chief Hodges and I were going to do. And it was very timely, and I think it was a perfect application here. I think you might like it. It's we were going to do I'm Just Tim. We're going to bring a lot of Timergy to this event today. They told me it didn't take much to Photoshop me into that, which really kind of makes me worried. As I said, it's fantastic to see everyone here today. It's fantastic to have everyone joining us on the live stream as well. I want to thank the sponsors for this event. The organizations listed on the screen in front of you folks, they play an enormous role in making what this community is. The success that we have, it goes beyond the sponsorship today. Their contributions are many, and they play a huge role in the success of this entire community. So thank you to all of our sponsors for all that you do for us. Thank you for supporting this event. Thank you for supporting the city of Bloomington. Thank you so very much. And thank you, Zawadi Center. Thanks for hosting us. Lunch was fantastic, wasn't it? It was very good. The Zawadi Center just opened their doors last fall, and if you've had a chance to look around, you'd find a business center, a cafe, a restaurant, a kids' play area, and of course the event center that we're in today. The Zawadi Center is a living, breathing example of a partnership between a community organization and the city of Bloomington. Our Office of Racial Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging, our Community Development Office, and our planning team all worked very closely with the Zawadi team to make this happen. The most important thing they had to do was to create a zoning term called cultural campus that made this all work out and all happen. And that was not a small lift. They did wonderful work. It happened about a year ago. It was during Ramadan, so the leaders of the Zawadi Center, they refer to this as the Ramadan miracle, the fact that we got this done. So appreciate our city staff for their work on this. Appreciate the Zawadi Center for hosting us today and for the outstanding reception you've given us. So thank you so very much. Today you are going to hear from me and from our city manager, Jamie Verbrugge, that the state of our city is strong. We are all working together to create a shared future. We are moving Bloomington forward. Much of what you're going to be hearing today will be in alignment with our community-based Bloomington Tomorrow Together strategic plan, which has a mission to cultivate an enduring and remarkable community where people want to be. And to get to that mission takes the leadership of so many. Thank you, Jonathan, for kicking us off, and thank you for your leadership with the Chamber of Commerce, and thank you for introducing the people who are leaders in this community who are part of this, from our school district, from across the different boards and commissions that work here, all the leaders in the community, so very greatly appreciated. It doesn't happen without leadership at so many different levels. And especially, of course, the leadership of our Bloomington City Council. We have Dwayne Lohman, City Council member of District 1, Sean Nelson, District 2, Lona D'Alessandro in District 3. Our newest council member is Victor Rivas. He's representing District 4. And our two at-large council members, Jenna Carter and Saw Mua. As I said, I also want to, yes, give them a round of applause, thank you. And I also want to welcome and thank our members of our Bloomington School Board who are here with Superintendent Eric Melby. You're great supporters of the city. We have a great partnership with them, so thank you so very much. One of the conversations we've had at this city council level over the past couple of years is the need to tell our story better. We need to brag more, basically. We need to get the good word out. We really need to talk about all the good things that we have going on here in Bloomington. So it was thrilling back in January when Bloomington was featured in the Washington Post. That's right, the Washington Post. The gray lady, you know, the venerable, highly respected newspaper, formed in 1877, home of 65 Pulitzer Prizes. Bloomington was featured in the newspaper of record in the United States. Okay, the story that I'm talking about was actually a story of John Podesta, right? John Podesta, he was named as the top U.S. climate diplomat, and I have no idea what that is, but I do know that John's a big deal. He worked in the Clinton administration, the Obama administration. He's working in the Biden White House right now on energy programs and is connecting a lot with local governments. That's how our paths crossed. I was in Washington at a U.S. Conference of Mayors meeting, and we were at the White House, and that's where I had my picture taken with John Podesta. That's right, my picture. That's right. More than a quote, it was a picture. And you can see, look at me, I'm leaning forward. I'm talking with my hands, so clearly I'm earnest, right? I was clearly making an important point. What I didn't realize is I've got rolls on the back of my neck. I don't know where that came from. I look like an Iowa offensive lineman, so I'm not sure where that came from. But there was my picture in the Washington Post talking to Mr. John Podesta. And Mr. John Podesta was clearly unimpressed with whatever I was saying. I will say I've seen that look before. Pretty much my entire life I've been seeing that look. Two things I want to point out. So as unimpressed as Mr. Podesta was, the third person in the conversation, and you can barely see that person, I have no idea who that person was, they're even less impressed. But the best part was the cut line below the photo. The cut line reads, John Podesta, Center, at a White House welcome event on January 19th for those attending a U.S. Conference of Mayors meeting. I was among those attending. We are telling our story, folks. We are getting the word out there. And the Post and others should take note. Remarkable work is underway to move this community forward. Here are the highlights from 2023. The future in Bloomington is bright as we look forward to new initiatives, projects, and developments in our community. Reflecting on where we've been is an important piece of focusing on the journey ahead. Investment was at the center of 2023 with the decision to create major improvements in health, recreation, athletics, and wellness in the hands of Bloomington voters. During the November election, residents approved a 0.5% sales tax to fund $155 million for 3 major investments. Improvements at the Bloomington Ice Garden and at 9 Mile Creek, and construction of a new community health and wellness center. And for the first time in the city's history, all city council seats were up for election. Voters returned 6 council members and elected 1 new council member. The Bloomington Tomorrow Together strategic plan launched with a public dashboard to track progress on priorities that help cultivate an enduring and remarkable community where people want to be. And Bloomington was featured on the world stage as the United States participated in an aspirational bid to host the World Expo in 2027. While the bid ultimately went to Serbia, the fostering of regional, national, and international relationships was invaluable. And a long-time international relationship continued to flourish as Bloomington welcomed guests from its sister city, Izumi, Japan, celebrating 30 years of the program. Public Works was back with an open house the same day the Bloomington Police Department celebrated 70 years of service with its own open house. And to keep up with the growing needs of the city, the Bloomington Fire Department added 23 full-time firefighters to the primarily paid on-call combination fire department. There it is. Construction on Fire Station 4 was completed in August, and in January, it received an Award of Excellence from the Minnesota Construction Association. Some major road construction projects got underway, including improvements to 35W and 494 and the I-494 Airport to Highway 169 project. The Metro D-Line Bus Rapid Transit opened for service. The Bloomington-based nonprofit Cornerstone reached a major milestone, serving victims of domestic violence for 40 years. The city prioritized equitable economic growth by implementing small business engagement visits, a partnership with Metropolitan Consortium of Community Developers. Connections continued at some exciting events like the city's first ever Juneteenth celebration, the Latino Conservation Week Festival at the Minnesota Valley National Wildlife Refuge, and Bloomington's 3rd annual Pride Festival, the first with partner Twin Cities Pride. The city's vehicles got greener with the first electric truck in service, with more to come. And behind all this work are talented and passionate people. People being seen and recognized by their peers. All of this exceptional work builds upon the foundation of what we want our city to look like, toward creating a connected, welcoming community, a healthy community, and a community with equitable economic growth. Thank you to community leaders, residents, business owners, city staff, and many more for their efforts to move Bloomington forward, and for making 2023 a remarkable year. At the risk of repeating myself, last November, Bloomington voters approved a new 0.5% sales tax to provide $155 million for renovations to the Bloomington Ice Garden, construction of a new community health and wellness center, and enhancing and protecting the 9 Mile Creek corridor and Moyer and Central Parks. Make no mistake, folks, the success of these initiatives represents a significant positive impact on the quality of life and the local environment here in Bloomington and beyond. When the state legislature gave us the okay to put these measures on the ballot, both city staff and the city council said that priority 1A was to engage and educate the community on details of all 3 of these proposals. Our efforts included a dedicated Bloomington Forward website, social media and targeted email campaigns, articles in our newsletter, videos, presentations at events, wide distribution of all kinds of information, and a postcard mailer that went to every city residence in Bloomington. Whether or not these initiatives passed was in the hands of Bloomington voters. Our commitment was to ensure that when voters filled out that little oval on the ballot, they knew exactly what they were voting for or against. Now, I might be a bit biased, but I think our voter education efforts were outstanding, and it's not just me saying that. This slide shows the percentage of voters who did not vote on the Bloomington Forward proposals. Typically, about 5 to 8% of voters would leave something like this blank, not vote on this type of ballot initiative. So having 1.2 to 1.4% of voters not voting on these initiatives shows that the community understood what they were voting on. And additionally, we heard from our city clerk that she heard from our election judges and election workers that there were very few questions on both election day and at the at early election possibilities. So again, we were very pleased with how we got the word out and informed voters about what exactly we were pushing forward. The 0.5% sales tax increase will take effect on April 1st. I was waiting there to let you make your own jokes for that one. April 1st, where it will go into effect, and the projects are moving Bloomington forward. The first project slated to break ground is the Bloomington Ice Garden renovation. We are modernizing and improving this historic 50-year-old facility to meet the community's needs for the next 50 years and beyond. The city will invest $37.2 million to renovate Big. The work will include critical infrastructure work like a new roof and mechanical systems and a complete redo of the ice-making system. It'll also include new spaces to improve access and redesign work to enhance guest experiences with a new ticketing and new concessions area, as well as a new locker room. Some of the work will begin soon. Some of it might actually be underway now, but the bulk of the work will begin about a year from now. My guess is the day after the last high school section final finishes at the Ice Garden, with the goal to reopen again in the fall for the hockey season of next fall. Spanning 240 acres, the 9 Mile Creek corridor we know is a beautiful slice of nature. It features trails and many outdoor amenities that the City of Bloomington residents just absolutely love. A community-driven planning process will develop a new vision for Moyer and Central Parks, with design principles reflecting the Park System Master Plan's priorities of natural resources, park facility needs, trails, mobility, and equity. We all know that 9 Mile Creek is one of the most ecologically diverse areas in Bloomington, and it requires proper maintenance to protect the area from invasive species and to ensure that native plants and wildlife can thrive there into the future. The city will invest $20 million to restore more than 100 acres of prairie, creek, and woodlands habitat and other outdoor amenities and park spaces, and community engagement opportunities will be starting on that actually very soon. And the big one, the city will invest $101.8 million to build a new community health and wellness center to replace the existing public health and Creekside Community Center buildings. The new facility will be at the Creekside site at 90th and Penn. The facilities will serve the recreation, fitness, and health activities and community programs for residents of all ages and all backgrounds from across the region. And yes, the community will have an active voice in this project. The city will start community engagement later this summer. The goal will be to cut the ribbon in 2027. And those aren't the only community amenities that are being improved upon this year. The city's bringing our Park System Master Plan to life through updates and improvements to parks across the city. The projects will be shaped again through a community-driven planning process and will reflect the changing nature of what city parks can be or should be. For example, in Smith Park, a newly constructed challenge-style playground is the first of its kind in Bloomington. Think American Ninja Warrior type structures, including a timer so kids of all ages can time their timing as they get through the structures and through the challenge. Bryant Park will host Bloomington's first fully inclusive playground, along with a redesigned park shelter, and Tretbaugh Park will be a bike skills park that features a paved all-wheel track and a gravel course for mountain bike skills development. Folks, if we're not moving forward, we're moving back. Let's take a look at some of the major development projects we have underway right now in Bloomington. This past year, the city saw significant growth with several property renovations and new developments. Since 2020, more than 2,300 new multifamily units have opened in Bloomington, with an additional 1,900 units in the pipeline. Of those 4,200 units, more than 1,200 are affordable. 2023 was another successful year for multifamily residential units. 3 large apartment developments opened their doors, namely Carbon 31, Riser, and Air. Construction started on the Oxborough Heights, Noble, and Ardor apartments. The City Council recently approved 4 additional large multifamily developments, so the trend is continuing. In other development news, Walser Toyota is completing its new combined Toyota dealership and corporate headquarters building. Luther Hyundai is expanding. New retail buildings include Topline Credit Union and Tommy's Car Wash, and Schneiderman's is converting and adding on to an office building for its first Bloomington store. Industrial development includes expansions at Seagate, Verizon Wireless, and Polar Semiconductor. Bloomington had one recent hotel opening at Hyatt House, and in something that is very rare these days in an era of high office vacancy, 6 Sensors will begin construction this year on a new office building in the South Loop District. The new Fire Station 4 finished construction and had its grand opening last summer. And the long-anticipated teardown of the gas station at the corner of 90th and Penn, with the expansion of Europolis set to start later this year. In 2023, new construction contributed more than $163 million in additional assessed value to Bloomington. With the projects currently in the pipeline, 2024 is anticipated to be another strong year for construction. We all know how important the hospitality industry is here in the city of Bloomington. And I know there are a lot of folks here from our hotels, bars, restaurants, and retail. If you are here, raise your hand. Thank you so very much. You went through a tough few years, and it's wonderful to see you here and to have you part of this, this great event once again. So thank you for being here. But we all know that Bloomington is not just a tourist destination. Our city is a great place to work and to do business. We are working to solidify Bloomington's reputation as a leader and as a remarkable place where businesses of all sizes want to be. We're investing in the business community, and let me give you a few examples of how. Bloomington's Port Authority is embarking on a process to develop a 5-year economic development action plan that just kicked off this month. The plan will provide short, medium, and long-term strategies to build Bloomington's economy and guide the Port Authority's work. It will also support Bloomington Tomorrow Together goals, especially equitable economic development. The plan is important. The notion that if you don't know where you're going, you're bound to get there, right? So the plan is very important, and you'll be surprised to hear, you probably won't, that there's going to include a lot of engagement with our business community and our economic development partners. Folks, if the phone rings, please answer it. There will be plenty of opportunities for you to be part of this, and we would love to hear your input. But I know most people in this room, they like plans, but they're also very action-oriented. And so the Port Authority and the city are actively working to develop those important relationships with entrepreneurs, mom-and-pop shops, small businesses, and companies that do businesses across the globe that are here in Bloomington. Work on Bloomington's new Small Business Center continues to move forward. It's being designed to cultivate new businesses and to lift up aspiring entrepreneurs. A small business resource of this type was one of the top priorities identified in our city survey of businesses a couple of years back. The design is done, and we're in the process of bringing on a construction management team. At the same time, we spent the last 2 years developing the operations and the programming and the branding and so on, so that we're ready to hit the ground running as soon as it opens. We've secured funding from a variety of sources, including our partners at Hennepin County. We want to thank them. A very important goal of this project is to support entrepreneurial efforts of underrepresented groups, women-owned businesses, youth, and artists. But I want to be completely clear here. The resources and the services of the Small Business Center will be available to anyone in Bloomington who's looking to start, expand, or improve their business. Construction, hopefully, will start this spring, and hopefully we'll be cutting the ribbon either later this year or early in 2025. In an effort to make connections before the Small Business Center opens, we host our Welcoming Wednesday program in Bloomington. Welcoming Wednesdays run noon to 2 on the second Wednesday of each month at Civic Plaza. Please join us if you haven't. Join us and learn about startup and small business resources available, meet city staff, and other business leaders. One of the latest collaborations between Bloomington and our great partners with the Minneapolis Regional Chamber is Bloomington Business Connections. We kicked off this new program just last month, had a very nice get-together with folks to talk. They made new connections. We got a city update from Jamie. We heard a school district update from Dr. Melby. We heard from the Chamber and Bloomington Tourism Travel. There are 6 of these connection opportunities planned every other month, held at different locations across the city. My favorite cost for these, they are free, so please, once again, join us and be part of this. And a few weeks back, it was standing room only when the city hosted the Minnesota Department of Employment and Economic Development's first event highlighting local and state resources for entrepreneurs and small businesses. The room was absolutely packed with a diverse group of entrepreneurs who were at various stages in their entrepreneurial development. It was a great program, a lot of specific details regarding resources and connections and stories of how it got done and inspiration. The best part was, I thought, a majority of the folks there had never set foot in Bloomington City Hall before. So to have them there and to be able to meet with them eye to eye was a huge benefit for this. You can see on the screen the panel. It included Deed's Small Business and Innovation Executive Director Neela Molgard and Europolis owner Dino Contelotis. Dino apparently and obviously got the biggest cheers of the evening because A, he brought the food, and B, he was responsible for tearing down the gas station at 90th and Penn. You gotta love that. We all know that it's not just about making connections, it's also about looking good. The city has a new facade improvement program that offers grants to cover up to 50% of total costs for businesses that want to upgrade the exterior of their building. Facades, signage, sidewalks, lighting, landscapes, and so on. Now we're targeting this program for our neighborhood commercial nodes, American and Portland, 98th and Nicollet, Old Cedar and Old Shakopee. But again, any business that is interested is eligible to apply, so we would love to hear from you. This type of investment in our business community improves our neighborhood commercial areas, it drives increased business, and it serves as a reinvestment to Bloomington as a whole. Another initiative that I'm very excited about is the Bloomington Economic Partnership. This is an alliance between the City of Bloomington and an influential cross-sector of employers, regional economic organizations, and academic institutions throughout Bloomington. We've been meeting for more than a year now, and our work plan is centered around workforce, investments, and partnerships. And I'm very excited by the work of this group. It's another opportunity for people in this room to get involved. Let me know if you're interested, and we can certainly find a place for you. I know we have some members of the partnership here today. Raise your hand so we can all say thank you for the work that you've done. This is very important stuff, and I do greatly appreciate what you've been doing for us. I hope you have all heard about Bloom in Bloomington, our city-sponsored internship program that we kicked off last summer. There were 3 high school students and 7 young adults in the first cohort. Like all internship programs, Bloom in Bloomington aims to connect young people with opportunities to explore career paths, build valuable work experience, and develop their leadership skills. The internships took place in different departments across City Hall, but also at Mall of America and Larkin Hoffman. So thank you very much for the Mall and to our friends at Larkin for hosting our interns. For some people, the internships even led to a job. So Isela Mendiola, who was part of our internship, now works as an office support specialist at City Hall. So we're very happy to have her on board. We are excited to get this program going again this summer. Guess what? It's another opportunity to be involved. If you would like to host an intern, please let us know. We have plenty of opportunities, and we would love you to be part of this. And we are so excited, see what I did there, about our brand new Hatch Bloomington program. Another partnership with the Minneapolis Regional Chamber of Commerce. As Jonathan said, if you haven't heard, Hatch Bloomington is an entrepreneurial pitch competition. So basically Shark Tank, right? Where the winner will be granted a $100,000 prize to open their very own bricks and mortar business in the city of Bloomington. Applications open up the first week of April, so get your pencils sharpened and get your business plans ready to go. We've got a great group of judges. We've got the competition going on. We'll also have community voting. So we'll have even you will have an opportunity to vote on the different applications for the semifinal and the final round. So check out the Hatch Bloomington website. I think there is a flyer on your on your table now. People lobbying already. And once again, thank you to the Minneapolis Chamber for the great work and the great partnership there. Our strategic plan, Bloomington Tomorrow Together, prioritizes equitable economic growth. And all of the initiatives that I just mentioned, Hatch, the new Small Business Center, Bloomington Economic Partnerships, Welcoming Wednesday, they all are designed to help grow a more diverse and a more accessible workplace. And at the same time we've been working to strengthen and expand Bloomington's business community and our workforce, we've also been working to strengthen and expand Bloomington's housing stock. As you saw in the video earlier, housing developments underway have identified affordable units, and building on that momentum is an absolute must. You've heard me talk before about how the Metropolitan Council establishes affordable housing goals for every city within the 7-county metro area. Bloomington's affordable housing goal for 2021 to 2030 is established at 842 new affordable units. The Met Council sets the overall goals and then breaks that goal down into housing that's affordable to people at different income levels, generally at households at incomes of 80, 60, 50, and 30% of AMI, area median income. The area median income in Bloomington is just less than $125,000. So you've heard me say before that it's better, I think, more useful to talk about this in terms of housing that people can afford. Affordable housing, that notion comes with a lot of baggage. So we talk about housing that people can afford. Households at the 60 or 80% level of area median income, those are households making between $75,000 and $95,000 a year, who we know it's difficult for them to own or to rent an apartment in Bloomington. We are working to make housing that people who work in Bloomington can afford and live in Bloomington. These are our teachers. These are the folks working in our high-tech industries. These are our first-year firefighters. These are people in our hospitality industry. We are committed to that notion of if you work in Bloomington, you should be able to afford to live in Bloomington. And I'm proud to say that we're doing really well on the 60 to 80% AMI levels, but it won't surprise you to know that creating housing for people who need deeply affordable housing, people at the 50 or 30% AMI, that is a challenging nut to crack. We still have significant work to do on our goals for deeply affordable units. And speaking of tough nuts to crack, affordable home ownership is even a tougher nut to take on. We know that owning a home is one of the keys to generational wealth, especially among our communities of color. So we were very excited last December when the Bloomington Housing and Redevelopment Authority was awarded nearly $3.2 million to build 27 new single-family homes. The Bloomington Affordable Home Ownership Program will serve households at or below 80% AMI with the goal of lowering the cost barrier for homebuyers and creating and preserving affordable housing. This program also advances the city's racial equity business plan because it provides a strategy to eliminate racial disparities, including inequitable access in housing. I'm going to show you a picture here, folks. This is a photo of a home that was prohibited in Bloomington before May of 2023. Bloomington's zoning standards prohibited this type of housing because the house wasn't big enough, it was only a one-stall garage, and the lot wasn't large enough or wide enough. The house was allowed in 1940, that's when it was built in north central Bloomington. And I am happy to report that housing like this is again allowed in Bloomington. The City Council made major changes to residential zoning provisions to stimulate more housing production, promote home ownership, and lower housing costs. Now, I know full well that these changes we made aren't going to drastically change any neighborhood in the city of Bloomington. We also know that it's not going to magically or immediately lower the cost of housing in Bloomington, but they will provide an incremental benefit. There is evidence that easing zoning restrictions slows the rapid rate of increase in the cost of housing over the long term. As I said a couple of times earlier, I want people who work in Bloomington to have the opportunity to live in Bloomington. Let's take a look at one program that does just that.
If it wasn't for the rental housing program, we definitely wouldn't be here.
2011 is when we got into the program.
It's our Rental Homes for Future Homebuyers program. The City of Bloomington Housing Authority has had this program for over 30 years now.
We were able to save up a bunch of money through this program. What was cool was that we were really just renting a home under market value.
There's 20 single-family homes spread throughout Bloomington. They're all 3-bedroom ramblers.
We had a pretty steep driveway, so Mike had to learn how to deal with Minnesota snow, even though he's from St. Louis, Missouri.
Just the yard work experience that I got from that has done us tremendous.
We kind of try and help them budget or pay off bad debt, that sort of thing, so that they're ready to get a mortgage.
It definitely felt like a little hand-holding and a little something like maybe that my parents and the generation before us didn't teach us.
Blue flowers!
We were expecting our third daughter. We needed a little bit bigger house, and so we moved into a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house in Bloomington with a big backyard. Part of trying to build wealth for your family is making big plans for the future. I decided to open my business, which is an arts school in West Bloomington. It's called The Arts Creative. It's a super fun time. We do birthday parties, we have adult nights, we have camps.
To see them able to move back to Bloomington and for her to start her business here, you know, it's just everything has come full circle. It's just one of our great success stories.
Bloomington has got a lot of great programs. I feel like we are giving to this community and they've really given right back to us, and it feels like they're invested in us as citizens, and they want our kids to be happy and healthy. They want us to be happy and healthy.
It's been a life changer for us and our kids.
It makes for a really healthy community to have homeowners.
Folks, Mike and Katie Ross are here with us today. Why don't you stand up and give everybody a wave if you could? We are so glad you're part of the community. We're so glad that you live here, that your business is here, and we're glad that you're here with us today. So thank you for being here.
Thanks, Mayor Tim.
We've talked about supporting and developing our business community. We've talked about housing. What's the next logical step to complete that three-legged stool, Jonathan? Transportation. That's right. Getting people from point A to point B efficiently and safely is as important as it has ever been. And when you talk about transportation, it's also important to acknowledge that it includes a wide range of transportation options, from driving in your car to the own 2 feet below your knees. When we're getting around Bloomington, of course, the biggie is, of course, the 494 project. It's underway. It's going to kick into high gear soon. It's going to be a rough couple of years. That's all I'm going to say about it, because there's nothing else that we can say about it. But beyond 494, in 2023, the city adopted an active transportation action plan. The plan ensures that the city will continue to focus on providing safe and convenient options for non-motorized transportation. And one of those is pedestrian crossings. And pedestrian crossing enhancements are one way to make it safer for people to choose to walk and bike in Bloomington. We did a number of crosswalk enhancements in Bloomington in 2023, like this one at 82nd Street at Toro, and this was a great partnership between Toro and the city of Bloomington. We've been making improvements that make it safer for students to walk and bike to school, like this intersection we completed at Olson Elementary School. Bike lanes, trails, sidewalks, they give people the option to choose non-motorized travel. The photo at the left shows the new buffered on-road bike lanes at Old Cedar Avenue. The middle photo shows on-road bike lanes on West 98th Street through the signalized intersection there. And at the right, a new sidewalk on Normandale Service Drive. We're adding sidewalks to fill in gaps in our sidewalk network. And the active transportation plan addresses ways to improve safety for all roadway users and to reduce vehicle emissions by slowing drivers down. The most common complaint I hear from Bloomington residents is people driving too fast, and I couldn't agree more. The example of this picture, it shows a trial installation of a traffic circle device. The traffic circle, it tested well, and it'll be constructed as a permanent feature in 2024. And in 2023, the council approved a reduction in the local roadway speed limit to 25 miles per hour unless marked otherwise. The changes go into effect later this year. Now, I know full well it's going to take more than reducing the speed limit, more than putting up new signs, even more than writing more tickets. It's going to take changes in the environmental aspect that we have. It's going to take educating voters. We need to make it the norm in Bloomington that if you drive the speed limit. Don't speed in our neighborhoods or on our arterial streets. All right, that's the official stuff that they told me I had to talk about. Now it's time to brag a little bit. And not a humble brag. I don't do humble brag. I don't do that. And I get it. Bloomington, Minnesota, we don't brag in Minnesota. It's very un-Minnesotan. It's very unattractive and so on. Let me paraphrase Ann Landers and say, let's be honest, the person who catches a big fish doesn't walk home through an alley. And I agree with that. We've got a lot of folks here we're going to brag about, and I think it's also time for a little, it's time for a little crowd engagement here, crowd participation. You all know how to do a one clap, right? We don't have time to applaud for everybody here, but you know a one clap. Everybody gets one clap. For example, for our great food that we had today, let's give the Zawadi folks a one clap. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Just like that. You got it down. Very good. Let's start with our friends at the Bloomington Convention and Visitors Bureau. First of all, they completed an impressive logo redesign and adopted a name change to better describe who they are and what they do, and they do a lot. So say hello to the Bloomington, Minnesota Travel and Tourism Group. Let's give them a one clap. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Our team works very closely with our partners at Meet Minneapolis, Visit St. Paul, and the state of Minnesota to attract big events to our region. And we have some big, high-profile events that were either just here or will be coming to the Twin Cities over the next several years. We just saw the men's and women's Big Ten basketball championships. The NCAA Frozen Four will be in St. Paul next month. We've got the 2024 U.S. Gymnastics Championships, the World Junior Hockey Championships in 2026, and Rotary International in 2029. These are big events booked all the way to the end of the decade, and that is impressive. And it can't be overlooked that a lot of the groundwork that we laid while working on the Expo bid is the foundation for this type of effort. At the press conference announcing the Rotary International event, Governor Walz said to me, the template you guys established with the Expo bid led to this. And while we fully acknowledge that these are regional events and that mostly will take place in the arenas downtowns, we know that Bloomington is a destination for many of the visitors who arrive here. These stats from 11 peer markets show that Bloomington is #1 in occupancy rates, far ahead of Minneapolis and St. Paul, and higher than other larger cities like Kansas City and Milwaukee for both 2023 and 2022. People who come to these events fly into our airport, they sleep in our hotels, they enjoy our restaurants and bars, and they shop in our stores. Let's give big events a one clap. Ready, 1, 2, 3. Now, I complained about the lack of coverage, but frankly, it seems like you can't pick up the Star Tribune right now without seeing a Bloomington restaurant included in their list of the 5 best things we ate this week. I think it's been 3 just in the last couple of months. And within the last year or two, 2 of our Indian restaurants were listed in the Strib's top 5 best Indian restaurants in the Twin Cities area. And the Rad Blue and the JW Marriott, both at Mall of America, were ranked the 2nd and 4th best hotels in Minnesota per U.S. News and World Report. For all that good news, let's give that a one clap. 1, 2, 3. I am not shy about saying that a great city has great art, and here in Bloomington, we have great art. This year, the Minneapolis, St. Paul, Bloomington area was ranked 6th on the annual list of the 20 most arts-vibrant large communities in the nation. We know that the arts have an important social and cultural impact on the community. We also know that the arts have a significant economic impact on our community. And if you haven't heard, we are making arts more of a community-wide focus in 2024. Up until 2023, Bloomington's creative placemaking efforts were focused on the South Loop. The efforts are now citywide, and that's a result of community members talking and bringing that forward as part of the city's Bloomington Tomorrow Together strategic plan work. For the arts, let's give it a one clap. 1, 2, 3. At the heart of all of this work are people and organizations that are moving Bloomington forward. Just a few weeks ago, in this very room, more than 120 people gathered to celebrate the 2024 Bloomington Pioneers and Changemakers. The series features Black leaders who have a connection to Bloomington and who have worked to advance civil rights and remove barriers to equity. It was a fantastic program. We honored 10 community members this year, and they definitely deserve a one clap. Ready, 1, 2, 3. Happy 50th anniversary to Veep, the largest food pantry in Minnesota, which has been supporting Bloomington and the surrounding community since 1974. Here are some numbers. In 2023, Veep distributed more than 6 million pounds of food to families. They provided wraparound case management services for more than 300 Bloomington families. They provided nearly 25,000 families with some type of service. More than 11,000 of those families were within the city of Bloomington. Let's be honest. Veep is the kind of organization we wish we didn't have to have in your city. But let's also be honest, we are enormously grateful that Veep is here providing the services that they do. They do outstanding work, and they have been doing it for half a century. Veep, for your 50th anniversary, you know what they get? They get a 2 clap. Ready, 1, 2, 3. Very good. Let's talk for a minute about Bloomington schools, shall we? The National School Public Relations Association named Bloomington Superintendent Dr. Eric Melby as a 2023 superintendent to watch. We're watching you, Eric. We're watching, just so you know. The Minnesota Association of School Administrators presented Assistant Superintendent Dr. Jenna Mitchler with the Outstanding Central Office Leader Award. And the National School PR Association honored Rick Kaufman, Executive Director of Community Relations and Emergency Management, with the President's Award, the group's highest award for an individual. With great leaders, you get great results. Graduation rates have seen big gains in Bloomington Public Schools. The 4-year graduation rate increased from 76.4% to 80.9% between 21 and 22. And the district's 7-year graduation rate increased to 91.4%. That's higher than the statewide average of 89.1%. The school district's strategic plan, Dream, Believe, Achieve, is setting the direction for the future. And Bloomington Public Schools is proud to have 8 teachers included in the field of 159 for Education Minnesota's Teacher of the Year program this year. Raise your hand if you knew that Bloomington Public Schools is leading the entire state of Minnesota with its computer science programming and their unique online code academy. He knew, I knew he did. Minnesota is somehow last in the nation. This blows my mind. Last in the nation in the number of foundational computer science courses being offered in high schools. How is that even possible? But here in Bloomington, our schools are making computer science an important part of the curriculum. They're teaching students strong computing skills while also teaching them to be creative, thoughtful, and joyful learners. How about for our Bloomington Public Schools, we give them also a 2 clap. Ready, 1, 2, 3. It goes without saying, folks, that big-hearted people make this a remarkable community in so many different ways. And there is no shortage of remarkable people in this community. People with amazing talents, unbelievable talents, the exceptional neighbors among us who give of themselves to make a difference in the lives of people across this city.
So as a teacher, when a kid walks into your room, you want them to feel like they are part of the community. And to do that, you need to create a space where kids can share about themselves. Hi, my name is Matt Eicheldinger. I'm a Bloomington resident. I've lived here for the last 12 years with my family. And I am also a storyteller and the author of Matt Sprouts and the Curse of the 10 Broken Toes.
I feel so good doing my job. I love doing it. Hi, my name is Diman Chuan. I'm a visual journalist at Shahan Journal. In 1993, we came to America from Cambodia. I went to Normdale, got my associate degree in mass communication, and then went to the U of M to get my 4-year degree in journalism. It took me about 2 years and 10 months before I actually got my dream job at WCCO. I watched it when I was little. I helped translate for my mom and dad.
She's like there for moral support. I feel like she's always there to make it better.
My position is district-wide. None of my days look the same. I currently support 2 elementary schools, a middle school and a high school. In a district-wide position, you go where the families are. So even though I'm assigned to a building every day, if there's a family that shows up that needs a language support, you go and you support that family.
2021, I decided to self-publish the book since no one was picking it up traditionally. So then the next 2 years, I sold thousands of copies. I won numerous awards for indie books, and I did get noticed. We signed with Andrews McNeil Publishing.
Hello, my name is Matt. I'm a teacher, and today I want to tell you about rolling dice.
My Instagram account grew very rapidly over the course of just 2 months. I decided I'm only gonna look at these stories that I've collected and only tell things that show the real heart of the story and paint the individual in a very positive way and leave people smiling at the end of the video.
The Bloomington Human Rights Commission has named Jessica Martinez as our 2023 Omar Bondrood Award recipient.
I was nominated by a parent from one of the elementary schools that I work in. It was a huge accomplishment. I was the first Latina to get that award. It's always just been in my nature that if you're going to be working with students, you have to tap into the community.
I cover some unbelievable story that happened in Minneapolis.
I can't breathe!
George Floyd, I took pictures after picture, and then, I also had to do my job, so I'm starting to send video back to WCCO. And I just had to be focused on doing my job, being professional, being in the middle, and capturing it. There's not a lot of minority journalism out there, okay?
Hello,
I also have my own Facebook page. I just came up with the idea that, I want to tell a story about Khmer people.
We all belong in the city. We all belong in City Hall. We all belong in the buildings and the neighborhoods that we live in. We all belong in the schools. So how do we come together in a better way where we can acknowledge each other's cultures, our foods, our languages, our music?
It feels like I have these 2 new trajectories that are just running parallel to each other. And I don't really know where they're going, but it feels positive.
I want other people watching my video, not just Cambodian people here, but Cambodian around the world. They believe in themselves. And maybe they'd be like, if she can do it, I can do it too.
Esto es como se ve la diversidad, inclusión y el amor. Y los amo mucho. Los amo a todos ustedes. And I love all of you. Thank you.
Folks, please join me in welcoming Diman Shun, Jessica Martinez, and Matt Eicheldinger. They're here with us today. Thank you for being such notable and outstanding neighbors. Thank you so much. And as an update, Matt's book his release was yesterday, and to date he has more than 60 million views on Instagram and TikTok. And I think I just heard Booker choke on his dessert, is what I just heard there. Thank you all. You're truly remarkable neighbors. And we aren't the only ones that think Bloomington is remarkable. Let's hear from one notable neighbor to the north.
Bloomington was an area I didn't know a lot about. I knew the 494 Strip, I knew the Mall of America. I had no idea how green Bloomington is. There are so many parks, so many lakes. Several times when I was walking in Bloomington, I paused and thought to myself, gosh, I wouldn't mind living in Bloomington, which was not something I expected. Hi, my name is Liz Only Arms, and I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I went back and looked at my numbers. It was about 85 different walks. The one part of Bloomington that I was really least looking forward to was the area around the Mall of America, because all I knew about that area was you drive in on what is truly a marvel of highway engineering, but that's kind of it. And so when I was on the ground there, I had no idea that it was really being built up as kind of this cute loop neighborhood. There was all this public art that was fun to see. There was what looked like some really pretty nice apartments going in over there. And as I hear a plane going overhead here, you know, it's right by the airport, which can be noisy, but I liked all the kind of nods to the airport. Just feels like it's kind of a treasure hunt. I'm going to turn this corner, what am I going to see there? It really helps you understand your community, and I think it makes you much more connected to your community. There's always something to see, and you know, I think once you get started, for me at least, it was hard to stop.
And Liz is here with us today. Liz, could you stand and give a wave if you could, please? To date, Liz has walked 3,740 miles in 8 cities between 2018 and 2023. She's about 75% of the way through St. Louis Park, which will add another 185 miles. Liz, we're so glad that you took the time to get to know Bloomington and discover some of our treasures, and congratulations. Keep on exploring. Or you could just move here, Liz. I mean, you could. We have plenty of room. We'll talk later. And if you did move here, we have a brand new Welcome to Bloomington program to greet new residents. The program provides monthly new resident meetings, neighborhood events, and a resource fair and a cultural fair. It also includes a pretty cool bucket list of activities like attending a high school play, going to a Winterfest event, visiting the Mall of America, or a park, or a trail, or the summer farmers market. And residents who complete the whole bucket list can turn it in for a Bloomington t-shirt. So we've got that as our Welcome to Bloomington. You can find out more at the website. Visit blm.mn/welcome. My friends, I'm going to end as I started by saying that the state of our city is strong. We are moving Bloomington forward, and we're so very happy and proud of that. I hope that your takeaway today from what I presented is that we're getting stronger, and that's because of the great contributions of not only the organizations we have into the city itself, but most importantly, the people that we have in this wonderful city. There is so much that we can do together and so much more that we are going to do moving forward. And now I'd like to introduce to you the person who actually directs all of this. You may not know this, but I'm just the eye candy. I'm the window dressing. The person who actually gets the work done, leading our city, is our city manager, Jamie Verbrugge. Thank you all for being here today.
Good afternoon, everybody. That was a tepid response. So I just want to do a time check, and I want to acknowledge that we said we'd have you out of here at 1:30, and so if you have some other place that you need to be and you need to leave, I won't be offended. If you walk out on me, I'll notice, I'll remember who you are, but I will not be offended, okay? So. Thank you, Mayor Busse, and thank you to all of you for being here this year for the State of the City address. The mayor did a really great job of detailing all of the exciting things that are underway to move Bloomington forward. I want to point out something about this year's presentation. This is the 10th State of the City that we've done since I started in Bloomington, and never have we had so much to report on about what we're doing to partner with and to promote and to support our business community. I think it's important to note, since this program is a Chamber of Commerce event, that the relationship between the city and the Chamber is, I think, probably closer than it has ever been. And most importantly, it's a relationship that is making a difference in our community. So I want to again say thank you to our friends at the Chamber for the work that they're doing to help making Bloomington the driver that it is for this regional economy. So I get to be here to talk about the people who are actually helping the city achieve our mission to cultivate an enduring and remarkable community where people want to be. And I'm excited today to highlight some of the talented professionals who deliver the quality services and move forward the initiatives and projects that are taking us towards Bloomington tomorrow together. So we get to welcome some new leaders to our organization. I'd like to introduce to you a group of exceptional leaders who've joined our city organization in the past year. They include Eric Holthaus, who is our new Community Outreach and Engagement Manager. Steve Barrett is our new Human Resources Manager. In Public Works, we have Tim Barrett, our Maintenance Superintendent. Aaron Catilla is our Fleet Manager, and Brian Traxler, who is our Fleet Maintenance Supervisor. Also like to take a moment to recognize some of our staff who've taken on additional leadership roles. Kari Carlson and Amy Sevig in our Finance Department as Deputy Finance Officers. Damon Bitney is new Deputy Police Chief. Damon's sitting over there. Anna Salvador, Assistant HRA Administrator. David Spaeth is Assistant Building Official. Jennifer Cross is a new Deputy City Attorney for Prosecution. Mike Kalis, the Assistant Maintenance Superintendent. Barb Wolf and Jason Schmidt, Assistant Port Authority Administrators, and, as mentioned before, Isela Mendiola, our Office Support Specialist in the Office of Racial Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging. To all of them, welcome to the City of Bloomington, and for those who are already here, congratulations on your more than earned promotions to leadership responsibilities. All right, so yeah, thank you. So we always have to check this box. Strong financial management continues to help us achieve much of what you've heard about today. To reaffirm our excellent financial position, I'm pleased to report that Bloomington once again continues to retain its AAA credit ratings, the highest bond ratings available from the 3 globally dominant credit rating agencies. Bloomington is one of just 37 cities in the entire country and the only one in Minnesota to earn this distinction. The ratings underscore the city's conservative fiscal management, our diverse economic base, our central location, and our low unemployment rate, and the continued success in the Mall of America Tax Increment District. So maintaining this top level of fiscal management is one of the keys to the city's efforts to cultivate an enduring and remarkable community where people want to be. Now, each year we ask the National Research Center to conduct its National Community Survey for the City of Bloomington. The survey is performed for cities across the country. It allows us to gauge how our residents feel about the city and to compare our results with nationwide benchmarks. 88% of respondents rated Bloomington as an excellent or good place to live, similar to last year's score. 77% of our residents rated the overall economic health of the city as excellent or good. Now, these results are on par with or higher than the benchmark comparisons with other cities that the National Research Center works with. The ratings for Bloomington as a place to work, for our employment options, and for shopping opportunities, all of those were above the national benchmarks in their categories. Our residents also continued to pour out praise for Bloomington's drinking water. This year's approval rating of 92% ranked Bloomington #1 among hundreds of benchmark cities nationwide. So would you all just raise a glass, join me in a toast to our folks in Public Works and Utilities and at our water treatment plant for delivering world-class water to your glasses. And I needed the break, so it was perfectly timed. It's been a quiet winter for our plow operators. I hear that's going to change in the next few days, so hopefully they haven't removed the plows from the rigs yet. Compared to last year's monumental snowfalls, this was a little bit of a disappointing year, but our snow removal continues to get high marks with a satisfaction rating of 92%, and again, that ranks us in the top 15% of all jurisdictions polled nationwide. It's no secret our city's snow removal is the best. I don't write them, folks, I just read them. We recognize that we can always do better in the work that we do. Some areas that were identified for improvement, street repair, ease of walking in the city, and opportunities to participate in community matters are all areas that we are going to strive to improve based on the feedback that we've gotten from the community. Now, about 9 out of 10 respondents said they felt very safe or somewhat safe in their neighborhoods. And in Bloomington's commercial areas during the day, and they're safe in the neighborhoods and in the commercial areas. They're safe from flood and fire and other natural disasters. So that feeling of safety and security is really important. 8 in 10 respondents reported feeling safe from violent crime and from property crime. One of the most critical aspects of our journey together is ensuring the safety and security of every resident in our city. So for the next few moments, I'm going to invite you to turn your attention to the great work that our police and fire departments have been doing. But before doing that, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the tragedy that occurred in Burnsville last month. Our hearts and our deepest sympathies are with the community of Burnsville as we all mourn the tragic loss of officers Paul Elmstrand and Matthew Verbrugge and firefighter-paramedic Adam Finseth. Their bravery and dedication to serving and protecting their community will never be forgotten. In the wake of the tragedy, Bloomington has stood in unwavering solidarity with Burnsville. Our Bloomington staff, including our police department and our fire department and others across our city, were honored to provide assistance to Burnsville every day for more than 2 weeks following the incident. And we continue to offer our deepest condolences and our ongoing support to the families and the friends and the colleagues of these fallen heroes, each of whom had connections and relationships with people in our organization. This is one that felt really close. So may their memories inspire us all to carry forward with service and courage and compassion in our own lives. Now, police work brings some of the best and the brightest individuals to the profession. We have a great department with a strong culture, and we have a community that supports them. In September, the Minneapolis Regional Chamber of Commerce presented the Bloomington Police Department with its inaugural Award for Innovation in Public Safety for the department's Shared Community Values program. The project brought together community members including faith, civic, and business leaders to establish a set of shared core values to maintain and to increase trust between police and our Bloomington community. The shared values identified by this process, respect, compassion, honesty, and service, have been imprinted into the DNA of the police department and serve as a prominent reminder of why and how the department provides services. These values have also allowed our police department to be fully staffed, one of the few cities in Minnesota that can say we're fully staffed. And that's resulted in increased community engagement and reduced crime. It's clear that we are attracting the best and the brightest to Bloomington and that good officers want to work in this community. And I'm happy to report that once again we've seen another annual decrease in crime in Bloomington. Incidents have dropped 3% in 2023 as compared to 2022, and that continues a 4-year decline in incidents. So congratulations to the great work that our police department does. And I also want to tell you about an innovative mental health rapid response pilot program that was announced by Police Chief Booker Hodges last October. The program is a national trailblazer, providing community members suffering mental health crises with immediate in-home therapy at no cost. In 2023, our police department responded to about 1,160 calls related to mental health crisis or suicide attempt or threat. And in many cases, follow-up therapy sessions are not available for weeks after that initial contact with law enforcement and social workers. This program ensures those who need help are being served as soon as possible with compassion and respect. Police Chief Hodges was also recognized for his community contributions last fall. Northern Star Scouting and the Community Builders Celebration Committee presented Chief Hodges with the 2023 William H. Spurgeon Award for his contributions to youth and the community. The award recognizes those who demonstrate ongoing, long-term concern for the community and welfare of children and youth and helping to improve the community of today in every way possible. Chief Hodges, congratulations. Congratulations to our Bloomington Police Officer Desmond Daniels, who is recognized as the Optimist Club's 2023 Officer of the Year and recipient of the Respect for Law Award. Officer Desmond has been a police officer for 16 years. He's been with the City of Bloomington since 2019, and interestingly, I worked with Desmond when we were in Brooklyn Park together, and I was really glad to see him come over to Bloomington. He's a co-leader of the BPD Racial Equity Action Team, which organized a community gathering for police officers and residents of a local apartment complex that have had regular calls for service, among other initiatives. So congratulations, Des, on being the Officer of the Year. Our fire department is stronger than ever, with new and improved facilities and added staffing to better meet the public safety needs of our community. As we heard earlier, a new Fire Station 4 opened last August to improve fire service to the community. Since it opened, Station 4 crews have responded to nearly 2,100 calls, including one just a few blocks from the station. In that call, the crew and the two chiefs were able to arrive on scene quickly and rescue 2 people who were trapped by the fire. Both people made a full recovery, and it's just one example of the benefits of the newly constructed fire stations and the new staffing model and how it's better serving our community. To keep up with the growing needs of the city, the Bloomington Fire Department has added 23 full-time staff, and it will continue to add personnel as it shifts from a paid-on-call model to a combination full and part-time department. And I also want to acknowledge the Bloomington City Council because their decision and support to grow the fire department and make sure it evolves with the times is really important leadership on their part. So thank you to them as well. And congratulations to 2023 BFD Firefighter of the Year, Chris Kaufman. He's a member of the city's Emergency Response Unit, which is essentially the former SWAT team with the Bloomington Police Department. So when the ERU is called to duty, in addition to the police officers who respond to the scene, Kaufman participates as a paramedic ready to provide medical aid to anyone at the scene, whether it's a police officer or a person of interest or a bystander. So congratulations to Chris for his recognition. In addition to the public safety recognition, there is more good news to report. There's a lot of good news to report. I can't fit it all into the measly amount of time I was granted compared to the mayor, but that's beside the point. So we're proud to have achieved the #1 ranking among peer suburbs in building equitable workplaces, according to the Center for Economic Inclusion's first Public Sector Racial Equity Dividends Index. The index is an analytical tool that's meant to help organizations build racially equitable workplaces. So the city scored in the 95th percentile among all organizations, including the report. Bloomington scored highly in leadership, budgets and finance, public safety, and public policy. The report showcased the dedication of the many staff who show up every day committed to support systems change throughout the organization. And while there's yet much more work to do, today we celebrate building the foundation that's going to carry us forward. And Bloomington has always been a forward-thinking community when it comes to climate action. We recognize the urgent need to address the challenges posed by climate change, and we're taking bold steps to ensure a sustainable and resilient future for generations to come. As part of the strategic plan, we're focused on environmental sustainability actions geared towards reducing climate pollution, increasing natural habitat restoration, reducing solid waste, and improving water quality. And just this past Monday night, the City Council approved the use of $300,000 of strategic priority funds to develop the city's first comprehensive climate plan. In 2023, we rolled out a bulky item management program. That one just rolls off the tongue, which was an update to the curbside cleanup program. So the new program earned the League of Minnesota Cities 2023 Award for Sustainable City, and it also received the Innovation and Sustainability 2023 Award from the Regional Chamber of Commerce. Changes included a monthly collection of bulky items for reuse and recycling. More than 10 tons of bulky items were collected for reuse and given new homes, and 43 tons were recycled instead of being disposed as garbage during the regular curbside cleanup. Tackling climate change is a difficult task, and it requires collective effort, but Bloomington is all about community collaboration. Together we build a Bloomington that is not just enduring but remarkable in its commitment to a sustainable and climate resilient future. I'm proud of staff across the organization who play a role in this work, and I want to emphasize these efforts are not isolated. They're part of a comprehensive strategy to make Bloomington a leader in sustainable urban living. Bloomington Sustainability Coordinator Emma Struss was named the 2023 Employee of the Year by the American Public Works Association Minnesota chapter for her tremendous work in helping lead these efforts. Emma, congratulations. Where's Emma at? She's here somewhere. There she is. There's Emma. All right. Permit me a moment to give a shout out to Mayor Busse, not just because he's my boss, but he actually earned this one, for the special recognition that he received last year from the Minneapolis Regional Chamber, their first ever Bold North Award for his efforts to bring Expo 2027 to Bloomington. The award is about honoring an individual who espouses the Bold North mentality and who is willing to champion the region no matter the circumstances. In our Expo bid, it wasn't successful, as the mayor said, but our region and our state were extremely well received on the stage, world stage. We built strong public-private partnerships, and we made global connections that position Bloomington and our state and our region as a desirable destination for tourism, business, and investment. So thank you, Mayor Busse, for your leadership. And before we conclude today's presentation, I want to return to a theme from the mayor's presentation, and that's the importance of moving forward together as a community. It takes a committed group of individuals working together for a common goal. much like the individuals involved in the Kennedy High School music program that are inspiring us and providing a wonderful example of how to cultivate an enduring and remarkable place where people want to be. So let's see what the Kennedy Choir is up to.
I think the Kennedy Choirs community is inclusive to everybody.
You need to put music in front of them that is representative of who they are and their ethnicity and their cultures.
Just seeing people like me in choir and singing makes me feel like I have people that I can confide in. When I was little, it was so nice watching this group and being like, there's people that look like me in the group. Actually being able to be in that and see it firsthand is really cool.
So curricularly, meaning they meet every day during the day. We have the Kennedy Chorale, that's the top vocal ensemble. Viva Voce, which is a treble choir of about 30 voices. And then I have Respiro, which is a beginning tenor bass choir. We have Eastside Rhythm, which is our prep show choir. We have 3 chamber a cappella ensembles, Cambrio. And then we have Virtuosos, which is tenor bass a cappella. And then Sorella, which is the soprano alto version of that ensemble. And then I have Rhythm and Gold, our varsity show choir that meets outside of the school day.
We have had a really successful past couple of years. Past 2 seasons, we've won 5 grand championships in competitions all across the United States.
Even in the metro area, we are some of the smaller metro high schools. So to see the success that they've had when they're going up against really Goliath groups, it's cool.
I feel very accomplished when we receive awards and are recognized for the work that we do.
There's a lot of learning, musical learning, learning about how to cooperate with other people artistically.
When people are involved in extracurriculars, it definitely helps with behavioral problems, and like my ambition in school has gone up since I've joined Kennedy Choirs.
Performing on stage with a group of people that love to do what you love to do and that you love just gives you so much energy.
I think the community and bonds we have with other people and all the chords just coming together, and it just becomes better when you're with people you love singing with.
A lot of these people here, I'm thinking that we're going to be friends for like a really long time because this community just brings people together.
The part that's really quite special for the community and what really benefits the not just Kennedy community but Bloomington community as a whole is the openness and the welcomeness that people experience in this program.
At the end of the day, we just want it to be a safe place where they can be who they are, they feel connected to other people. That's what it's all about.
People get ready, 'cause here it comes, it's a light of beautiful.
Let's hear it for the Kennedy Chorale. Now, those of you who've been doing this for a few years know that we generally have, at this point, the Kennedy Chorale would come in and they would inspire you and send you off smiling. And unfortunately today, because of our timing issues, they had to go back to school. So I'm going to encourage you to look for opportunities to find a Kennedy Chorale performance and see them live and in person. That wasn't your issue, I promise. You did just fine. You stayed within your timing, Mayor, right? But I do want to say thank you to all of you. So as we talk about how important it is to have a collaborative community and that we do all of this work together, you're a really important part of that. I mean, you're here because you are engaged and you are involved in this community, and we really appreciate the fact that you are. And so on behalf of the mayor and our elected officials, on behalf of our city staff, and on behalf of the community, I want to thank each of you for your leadership in Bloomington, your connection to Bloomington, and your commitment to continue to make Bloomington a remarkable and enduring community where people want to be. Thank you very much for coming. Have a great afternoon.